shepherd, lead me, guide me, haunt me, push me, move my heart. When I ache for stiller waters, keep me on my feet. Bring me to the street, help me not retreat. Lead me in the path of justice, send me to resist the violence. Tempted as I am to silence, comfort me and raise my voice. Help me make the harder choice. Oh, my shepherd, I have walked through whitest valleys far too long, fearing what I thought was evil, causing harm and doing wrong. Help me sing a different song. Where I stumble, make me strong. I have lingered at the table, safe and sated, unaware, failing in my joy to notice all the ones who weren't there. All the ways the world's unfair, all the ways I didn't care. Oh, my shepherd, fill my cup with heartbreak so it overflows. Pour the oil of deep compassion down upon me till I know how to face the devastation, how to work to heal the nation, how to strive for reparation. Oh, my shepherd, may I be a shepherd of my very own, leading others into goodness, guiding others into mercy. Living proof that you have called us to rebuild your shattered home as a place where all of us shall dwell as one our whole lives long.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. My name is Melissa Barlett, and I am a member of our worship committee. Whether you are visiting for the first time or have been a member for many years, you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here. Whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are invited to bring our whole selves to this worship service, our doubts as well as our convictions, the pain and joy we have known, our longing for connection and understanding. Every part of you is welcome here. Our congregation acknowledges that the land on which UU Utica is situated is the ancestral lands of the Oneida Nation, one of the original nations of the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois people. If you are visiting us for the first time, we are glad you have joined us. We would love to learn more about you and connect you with our newsletter if you would like. And there will be a link in the chat to a form that we hope any of our visitors would fill out. We also hope you would stay for informal conversation in breakout groups after the service, one of which I think will include a climate action conversation. Barb, you can confirm in the chat. I don't believe I have any specific announcements today, but if there is anything, please put it in the chat to Alex at UU Communications, and we'll get it into the service at some point later. Let us open our hearts and minds to the experience of community and the wisdom of love. Our call to worship this morning is There's My Temple by Ma Teresa Tet Gustillo Gallardo. There's my temple. Believer, unbeliever, or wild one, you are welcome. We have no definition of who we are but human. We have no code but that of respect. We have no creed but that of equality. There's my temple. Identity seeker, sinner, stateless or not, you are welcome. We have no constraints on expression but space. We have no code but to listen to poetry between the silence and the surrender. There's my temple. Nature tripper, urban dweller, or saint, you are welcome. How shall we divide the world but by our breaths? We have no pope above us, no infallible bull. We have no judgment but in terms of harm. There's my temple. History maker, marginalized, unorganized, you are welcome. We have no covenant among us but mutual assistance. We insist on no assumptions and doubt moral facts. We are free to theorize with emotion and call it hope. There's my temple, unbecoming expert robe or disrobe, you are welcome. We have no dwarves or giants, Goliath fell long ago. We have no seal on revelation, tentative is truth. Lead by your desires and serve by your power. There's my temple. Funny, temperamental, shy, or wise, you are welcome. There is not one way of being human, not even Superman. We have no world, but that which we together create. There is as much wisdom in harmony as in dissent. And please join us on mute to sing along with our first hymn, number 153, Oh, I Woke Up This Morning.
Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I was walking, talking with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Walking, talking with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind,
and it was
stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I was singing and praying with my mind,
and it was
stayed on on freedom, singing and praying with my mind.
And it was
Stayed on freedom, singing and praying with my mind.
And it was
Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. Oh, I woke up this morning with my mind.
And it was
Stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind.
And it was
Stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind.
And it was
Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Now I'll light our chalice, the chalice lighting from The Promise and the Practice by Rebecca Savage. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This, a chalice of audacious hope. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. For our together time this morning, I have invited a special guest to join us who has a story to tell. Hold on just a second while I get them. Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to join you for this little while. I appreciate the opportunity to share this story. I tell you, I sometimes hardly believe it myself. You see, I was on a journey. I had to go from my home in Jerusalem over to Jericho. And it was a long walk. And along the way, something awful happened. I was attacked by robbers. They took everything I had. They beat me up very badly, and they kicked me and punched me until I fell down in a ditch by the side of the road. I think I must have passed out, because I remember waking up bruised and sore and bleeding, and I could hardly sit up, and I had no idea what I would do or how I would carry on. And I cried for help, but this was a desolate road, and I doubted anyone would hear me. But as I was lying there, I heard footsteps, and I saw a priest coming toward me. I felt hopeful, because priests are good people. But this man walked right on by as if I had not been there. But then more hope. A man, a temple priest, I could tell, came up the road. And you see, my people, the Hebrews, we are friends with the temple priests. So I tried also to call out to him and lift a hand towards him, but he quickened his step and walked right by without even glancing my way. Now, you are probably appalled already, but I haven't even gotten to the most unbelievable part of the story. There I lay, all hope lost, at this point fading in and out of consciousness, when I felt a warm, gentle hand on my brow wiping at the dust and blood on my face, and I opened my eyes to see, oh, I can barely say it, a Samaritan. Oh, can you believe it? A Samaritan. I mean, my people, we hate the Samaritans. I mean, normally we can't stand them, and yet here was one of them helping me. I know, right? Absolutely unbelievable. But let me tell you more. This Samaritan, he tore off part of his shirt to bandage my wounds. He cleaned my wounds with oil. He gave me water to drink. I was shocked and stunned by how kind and caring he was. Then he lifted me onto his donkey and carried me to an inn where he kept me and cared for me, and truly until I was healed. And well, that's my story. And I wouldn't believe it myself unless it had happened to me. Samaritans, who'd have thunk it? Anyway, thank you for your time listening to my story. Wow, that is a great story from our special guest this morning. I'm glad they were able to come and tell us about their unexpected story. All right. But now I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today, Dr. Mark Montgomery. Dr. Montgomery is the first Chief Diversity Officer in SUNY Poly History. He has served on the Race Relations and Second Chance Committees with the District's Attorney's Office and is a member of the Oneida County Opiate Task Force Steering Committee, serves on the Access and Inclusion and Police Reform Committees in Utica. To date, he has conducted over 65 academic workshops and seminars at collegiate level conferences. In 2008, he received the Educator of the Year Award. He was nominated for the prestigious SUNY Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Service. He received the Outstanding Community Service Award from the Mohawk Valley Frontiers, Contribution to Black History from the NAACP, Contribution to Education and Community Service Award, and in 2015, he was honored with the Leadership Mohawk Valley Award for Leadership. In 2016, he was named Grand Marshal for the Regional Independence Day Parade. In 2017, he was named the Friend of Children of the Year for his efforts serving children with cancer. In 2019, he received the New York State Commendation for Lasting Contribution to Community. In 2020, he's honored with the Exemplary Attitude, Valuable Assistance, and Ongoing Support from those who require accessibility and disability services from Mohawk Valley Community College. His most recent award came from SUNY as they named him Alumnus Emeritus from his alma mater for his efforts. In addition to keynoting SUNY Poly's convocation, he's keynoted several commencement addresses. In 2011, the help of his wife Lisa, retired teacher of American history, Dr. Montgomery, a survivor of sarcoidosis, a blood-borne pulmonary disease, founded the Montgomery Experience, which has morphed into Joseph's Experience, a not-for-profit which aims to positively impact children who suffer from diseases such as cancer and leukemia. He honored his parents in 2019 by riding his bike across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. His first book, under the theme of student retention, titled Painting the Academic Canvas with Students of Color, Assuming You Can Retain Them, was released in the spring of 2017. He's currently working on his second book, Curing Ignorance with a Dose of Cancer, and I am glad to have called him a colleague for a number of years and a friend, and we still do some work together. And so I now give you Dr. Mark Montgomery.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm not sure how you follow somebody like that, but I'm going to do my best. First of all, good morning to each and every one of you, and despite the cold, it is an absolutely fabulous day to be strong in our faith. No matter what the temperature is, today is an opportunity to enjoy the light which provides us our strength and our direction. So before I start my remarks, very humbly, I would like to say thank you to my Maker for the opportunity to join you this morning and to give all credit for my words and whatever wisdom that is bestowed to you all, courtesy of my words, are not mine. They are His, and I'm thankful to be here today. What I wanted to speak about are two of my favorite words, and that is humbleness, as Dr. Barlett alluded to a little while ago, but intentional altruism. And a lot of people really don't know what that means, but I'm going to break that down just a little bit, because altruism, by definition, is giving of the self without having any expectation of anything in return. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Altruism, I'm going to argue, is the cornerstone of a life of faith. That's what we do. It is not something we do for trophy or for admiration. It is something that we do because it is the part of faith that has been modeled before us. It is an honor to engage in something called altruism. But part of that is to recognize that we all have questions when it comes to faith as applied through the altruism process. During these troubling times of division and confusion, there are a lot of emerging themes and questions that come about. For example, people often ask, is there hope? How do we move forward? Is it possible to move forward? I do have a lot of good news to share, but I am the walking definition of an optimist. But I do have a lot of good news. And part of that good news is it's here. Sometimes we have difficulty locating it. I was thinking last night when I was finalizing what I was going to speak about this morning, and every year I watch a film called The Greatest Story Ever Told. And there is a time when Jesus Christ was being questioned by Pontius Pilate. And Pontius Pilate says, "Where is your kingdom? That I have not heard of it. Why don't I see it?" And Jesus replied, "You haven't seen it because you have not looked for it." I'm going to argue that is the same thing about good news. A lot of people struggle with validation that it does exist, and I'm going to say because you're not looking for it. It's there. It's always there. It never wanes. What do we need in order to have good news? Well, first of all, we need to recognize that in order to, first of all, validate its existence, is we have to remember once we do find it, what are we going to do with it? We need a process. And part of that process is something that was alluded to a little while ago today. Even before this call started, I heard somebody say to another person, "It is good to see you." Think about that a little deeper this morning. What does it mean to see somebody? Not just literally and phenotypically, but what does it mean in 2022 to actually see somebody? To see somebody, we have to take a couple steps backwards and learn how to walk again in the light of vision. Vision being defined as when you see somebody, to break it down at a little different level. Then ultimately, once you learn to walk in the light of seeing somebody, you need to learn and stop and stand. We know that in order to really be effective in helping others and making a positive difference in the lives of those around you, is you have to be strong in yourself. Whether it's personal conduct, whether it's faith, whether it's what you do professionally, personally, socially. In order to be effective in moving these needles, you must learn to stand for yourself first. And how do we do that? Just take a moment to think about your social circle. Who is there? What is their role? Are these people who are inspirational in thought or inspirational in action? Do they see you? And what is your role in terms of that circle of trust, if I can call it that? Because that's part of your good news. For those of you who remember The Wizard of Oz, there is a person in there called Glinda the Good Witch. And I'm going to circle back to her toward the end of my talk this morning. But what I'm talking about today is what Glinda said: you've always had the power. You just needed to learn it for yourself. I'm saying to you this morning that you've always had the power, but I think you forgot where to look for it. I see you. I try to see as many people as I possibly can, no matter what they're bringing to the table. I'm not asking you to talk and to see people who agree with you, who support your values. That's easy. The challenge is to see those who disagree or dissent or don't understand or are lacking of faith. Because that is what altruism is about, is to give some of your light where there is an absence of light. Have the courage to look at your circle and your circle of friends and ask them if they see you, and then define what that means. Yeah, I see you. Or as we like to say in 2022, I appreciate you. Can you take the time to tell me why? These are conversations that evoke meaningful dialogue, stronger relationships, and increased light like we are enjoying today. That is the circle of trust. Another part of the conversation is to make sure that we are doing things that evoke kindness. Having a life which surrounds the acts of kindness begins with yourself. You are the practice ground. What have you done for yourself today to kindle your light? You cannot share a light that is weak. You need to kindle a light that is strong and that needs to be fed. It is best fed through faith and strong circles, and circles that remind you that you have a level of accountability if you're going to speak the words. Therefore, you will be judged before you speak. And are you taking those steps through intentional altruism to get that job done? What I'm talking about is intrinsic excellence, is raising a bar for yourself, which can be very challenging during these times, right? Challenges are a great thing. Challenges are things that we look back and know that we have earned the path that we are on. That it was not given, it was not enabled, it was earned. It's also called credibility when you decide to speak, because people should be challenging your road. Tell me what you have learned. Tell me what you found are your areas of growth that you are qualified to speak these words to me. And those responses should be really simple and very fast. And being honest with the challenges. Part of taking care of the self also surrounds recognizing when it is time to step back, pause, and breathe. Because breathing is also a cornerstone of faith, is recognizing that the wisdom that you are being bestowed, whether it's through song, whether it's through literature, whether it's through the words spoken at the pulpit, that we practice taking the time to be humble and strong in our reflection. And what do we take from that to move forward, to strengthen our faith and to increase our light, such that it radiates to those who need us most? I mean, that is those who are questioning our climate today. They're asking the question, I need light. Where can I find it? I need to surround myself with people who are altruistic. Where can I find them? As people of faith, that is our job. You can accomplish that through, as you heard through part of my bio, through dedication of service to others. Especially those for whatever reason have been given a life that will probably be cut short through no fault of their own. These people seek light as well. Service to others is also the key to happiness. It's the key to good news. And right now, altruism needs to be the cornerstone of everything that we do. If that is something you have not learned through COVID, that pause and reflection are essential, I'm not sure you understand what is happening. But once you do understand and you practice that, you will start catching fire. You will start catching the flame of service. And understand at the end of the day, before you put your head down, that you get up in the next day and you say, you know what, carpe diem. I need to seize this day through my actions versus what the late Sidney Poitier said versus my intentions. Striking difference. One of the things that people do not spend enough time talking about in relation to pause and reflection is that word humbleness. Just by nature, human beings have a tendency to be rather centric and certainly pompous, which is unwarranted arrogance. When you take the time to ask people, can you tell me why you see me, how you appreciate me, make sure that you articulate and they articulate what is their top three. One of the things that we also should probably hone in on is a message that I heard literally a few minutes ago this morning through a song. I woke up this morning. How did you wake up this morning? I'm very, very blessed to have a message that I'm provided opportunities to put out there. And in the past few years, I have wound down my presentations like I'm going to wind down mine right now. No matter where you are sitting, no matter where you are today listening to these words, I'm going to ask you to put your hands up and just move your hands. Simple act, right? But take the time to remember that not everybody can. When I ask people to do that in conferences, I remind that how I start my day 99% of the time. Certainly there are days that I forget. But what this is a message to my maker to say thank you. Because I'm starting my day that I can walk and talk and feed myself without assistance. For that, I am grateful. It's already a great day. Because I recognize that not everybody can. I then take the moment to look across my office and I look at the greatest woman in the world. Happens to be my spouse. And I say the words out loud versus thinking it, which makes a big difference. And I say, I will not let you down today. So to wind down my talk this morning, take the time to be intentional with your good news. It's there waiting for you to embrace it. It's there waiting for you to grasp it and give it to someone else through light, through scripture, and most importantly, through your actions versus your intentions. That is wonderful news that awaits you. I also would like to make sure that during the course of your day, you think about the Wizard of Oz and Glinda the Good Witch, who bestowed upon you all to remember you've always had the power. You just had to find it for yourself. May your faith and your light keep you strong. May your heart keep you focused on the right thing. And like today, enjoy the light and each other. It's there for you to see. Thank you for your time and your wisdom and your thoughts and your prayers today. And at this time, I'd like to turn it back to my friend, Dr. Barlett.
All right, thank you again, Dr. Montgomery. All right, we will close this section of our service with another hymn that you can sing along to while on mute, number 1017, Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working a new way. We are building 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 word. love that is the seed we can feed on every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Take a moment of meditative reflection, the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. First, if we are to create the abundant life, we must give ourselves to some great purpose and some great cause that transcends ourselves. This is what Jesus meant when he said he would loseth his life shall find it. In other words, he who loseth his life in some great purpose or cause transcending himself shall find his life. This giving of oneself to some purpose, transcending oneself, might take place through one's life work, provided that this life's work is decent and honest. Every man should learn to love his job, and there is a joy and an eternal satisfaction that comes out of a job well done. Whatever your life's work may be, do it well. Do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it. Do it so well that nobody could do it any better. Whatever your life's work may be, I admonish you to consider it significant. If God has endowed you with some great and extraordinary talent, use it well. If God has endowed you with just ordinary talent, use that well. For ultimately, God's standard of measurement is not in terms of how much we have, but what we do with what we have. If your life's work is street sweeping, sweep them well. Be determined to sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, like Beethoven composed music, like Shakespeare wrote literature. Sweep streets so well that all the heavenly hosts will have to pause and say, here is a job well done and a life well lived. The words of Douglas Malloch are relevant still. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a shrub in the valley. Be the best shrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. You can't be a highway, just be a trail. You can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Discover your calling, then give your heart, soul, and mind to it, and thereby life will present you with meaning that you never thought was there. You are on the road to creating the abundant life. And as Dr. King speaks about creating an abundant life, we also seek abundance in our church, giving our time, talents, and treasures to the best of our abilities to help us live out our mission to nurture spiritual community, honor diversity, and advocate for social justice. If you are able to give, please do so by donating through PayPal on our webpage or by sending a check to the church, and enjoy this musical offertory.
Keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around. You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open. Though these waves wanna put, though they want me around. around. Though the waves wanna push me around, I'm gonna keep my heart. I'm gonna keep wide open. I'm gonna keep my heart wide open till my faith brings me back to solid ground. Until my faith brings me back to solid ground. We gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open. We gotta keep our hearts wide open. Although these waves wanna put us around. Although these waves wanna push us around. We gotta keep our heart. We gotta keep wide open till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Till our faith brings us back to solid ground. Say hi.
I was reminded via the chat that we have a number of recent birthdays. So happy birthday, Jack Pendrak and Jackie Lesos and Bill Gazzatano, all within the last month or so. So people who do a lot for our church. Okay, I will now extinguish our chalice. You can please join in with the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And our benediction today, Go in Peace, Seeking Justice by Jim McGaw. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in mindless oblivion. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go without challenging yourself or others. When I say go in peace, I don't mean go in utter ease and comfort. When I say go in peace, I mean go in peace, seeking justice. I mean go in peace, committed to equal rights and opportunities for all. When I say go in peace, I mean go in the peace that is created when, together, we build communities of true solidarity, deep compassion, and fierce, unrelenting love. Go in peace.
Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was quote unquote well-timed in the view of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I've heard the word wait. It rings in the air of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our distinguished jurists that justice too long delayed is justice denied.
One man come in the name of love. One man come and go. One man come here to justify. One man to overthrow. In the name of love. One man in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. One man come on a barbed wire fence. One man he resists. One man washed up on an empty beach. One man betrayed with a kiss. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love.
Let us march on poverty. Let us march until no American parent has to skip a meal so that their children may eat. Yes, sir. March on poverty. March until no starved man walks the streets of our cities and towns. Yes, sir. In search of jobs that do not exist. Yes, sir.
Shots ring out in a Memphis sky. Free at last, that's what you like, but they could not take your pride. In the name of love, one more in the name of love. In the name of love, one more in the name of love. In the name of love, one more in the name of love. In the name of love, one more.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.